morning, good morning. Another brisk morning here. Nope, we're not digging in other people's yards. We don't do that. Another brisk morning here in southeastern Patheticate. It's about 35, sunny. But still chilly. Let's go. Still chilly. Good morning. What's up, Sharon? What's up, Ben? That's a creepy name, brother. That's a creepy name. Sorry. I'm gonna tie the bag. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Pardon. Fresh is gonna get very fresh today. He's getting some snow. Oh, good for him. I want some snow. I think we're getting some on Saturday. Tentatively. I'll believe it when I see it. We'll see. If we do, I will still be going out. I mean, unless it starts dumping, something that would make the roads really bad, then I'm still gonna go out. I'm going up Friday evening to check out and see if all the gates are back open. And if they are opened, I'm gonna do a drive-through. Some of those trail roads that go really deep into the forest that we had gone down here back in like September. I'm gonna go down some of those roads Friday evening, and I'm gonna throw the camera up in the window and just let it film and see if maybe we can catch a road crossing or side of the road sighting type of thing. We'll see what happens, but that's the plan as of right now. Saturday, I'll be back up in the forest. But anyway, good morning, Dana. Good morning. And that name is creepy, man. It's really creeping me out. Sounds very pedophile-ish. I think you might want to change that one sooner than later. Come on, buddy. Come on. There you go. Good boy. I got to go to the doctor's this morning. Follow-up visit from the last one. See if they have found out some of what's going on. Ooh, butcher box. Good stuff. Well, hey man, listen, pedophiles have kids too. Just saying. Tickles sounds like a creepy clown. who does strange stuff. Hello, Carson. Good morning. Good morning. Come on, what are you doing? We're going this way, goon. You goon. So, I was watching an episode of Hellbent Holler. Let me turn the stupid camera around. I don't know why it's facing me. I was watching an episode of our good friends Joe and Jesse and Hellbent Holler last night. And Joe was talking about something that really, really struck a chord with me. And I just have to, again, applaud how much I admire them. They're doing great work. They're just doing great work. Some of the things that, like this, for instance, when he talked about it, I was like, holy cow. It shocked me because I wondered why nobody else had thought of it, but I guess it's not something that is, it's not one of those things that it's like, it's one of those normal things that people think about when they think about the cryptid world and Bigfoot and Sasquatch and all the other stuff that comes with it. Are we doing this again, bro? This happens every time. He goes 2 or 3 times and then he starts to go again. And he doesn't go. That's what we're dealing with. It's a phantom shit. We're just gonna squat for a while. That's what we're gonna do. You're staring at the house like something's bothering you. But anyway, so what he was talking about was this new AI art. Have you guys seen this stuff? This new AI art that they have? Create images through these AI apps. And people are creating these phony social lives. Oh crap, we got another dog up here. I gotta wait now. People are creating these phony social lives through these pictures where it's making them look like they're going to these parties and all this stuff when they're not actually going to these parties. But that's not the problem. So the issue comes in. The issue comes in a lot of these pictures. What's happening is, and people are freaking out about this, not so much about the AI aspect, but about what it's doing to the pictures. And a lot of these pictures, what they're getting is like hands. When there's a hand in the picture, and you can see the fingers visibly, there's 6 fingers instead of 5. They're not quite placed right on the hand. There's another one, another thing where people have like more teeth than they're supposed to naturally. And these are the 2 things that are sticking out and that are happening repetitively with these pictures. And Joe spoke about how the Native Americans began to greet each other with a hand up. And they did that. They started doing that so that they could see each other's hands and inspect them to make sure that they had 5 fingers and not 6. That's That's a crazy thing to think about. No, we're not smelling that. Let's go. It's a crazy thing to think about that they were so worried about something that looked human enough, but wasn't quite human, and freaked them out so much that they started this greeting so that they could tell for sure if this wasn't one of these things, whatever they might have been. Well, have you ever heard of the uncanny valley thing where something looks human but not quite human, just off enough that it freaks people out? That's kind of what's going on in these pictures. And also, what Joe was talking about was we had to have been accustomed to seeing things like this for so long that we adapted to it and created ways for us to differentiate between them. There is the tale of the Nahullo, I forget how it's pronounced, which is the white-faced giants. I believe it was the Choctaw and the Chickasaw were the tribes who first spoke about them. Maverick, stop it. No. Good boy. And these were, giants with 6 fingers, double the amount of teeth, and white, pale skin. So, Joe was asking the questions, were there many different things, creatures, beings out there that looked human enough that they could get maybe close to certain tribes, certain peoples, and then once they were, there was imminent danger. I know the Nahullo were said to be, they fortified the mountaintops in their lands like no others back then. They were far ahead in engineering and just about everything else. And that was why, too, when the regular white man came, Native Americans weren't very surprised because they had already seen a race of whites, and the race of whites that they saw were these giants who were much more impressive in every way. So then the regular white men come along and they're like pygmies, and so the natives they're not impressed. But what is it that led us to this place where even now, when we see the hands is the big one. Even artist renderings, hands are the hardest thing to draw, right? People have trouble with it. Even good artists do. And so, is this because of the many years that we had these other beings side by side with us that looked like us, but not quite? So they had 6 fingers, more teeth, and we have obviously adapted even to this point where when we see a hand that has 6 fingers, or a mouth that has more teeth, whether it's a drawing, these AI pictures, it really freaks people out. It really has this visceral reaction to it. So that there had to have been something or some things that were around for so long that gave us that reaction to this day still. We know that the giants were real. The skeletons prove it. Even if the Smithsonian crooks have hid so many of them and tried to erase that part of history, there's been too many that have not been hidden and have been found and shown to the public. So what is it? I mean, is it just the giants? Were there other things out there that looked like us, but just not quite right? That's a creepy, very creepy, scary thing to think about. Joe had me like, man, I was on the edge of my seat listening to him talk about this, and my brain was going a million miles a minute. I was online, I was looking stuff up, and there's a whole lot of stuff online to talk about at least certain races of these giants. But I think there's probably more to it than that. I think there's more to it than that. I'd love to know what you guys think. The Vatican also, absolutely. Absolutely. I gotta go back in the things here and look. Let me see. Let me see. 6 fingers, yeah. AI is definitely strange. But why is it creating that? Why is that what it's creating in these pictures? 6 fingers, extra teeth. That's what it's doing. It's not putting a third eye, right? It's not putting 2 noses. It's not even messing with the look of the face. It's always the fingers and the teeth. So why? Good morning, Lady Wolf. How are you? Nope, not just red hair, Jeannie. These were white skin. Not just red hair. They had brown hair. Some of them had white hair. The red hair giants are a specific type. There were the red-haired giants that were the cave giants there that were cannibals, and these white-faced giants also were cannibals, I believe, but they're not the same. Different parts of the world, different histories, but yes, red-haired giants also existed. If you listen to the episode of Sasquatch Chronicles, and some of the stuff that he tells is utterly terrifying. Utterly terrifying. As you know, I love the giant stuff. I've just only gotten into it recently. But there are... If these researchers who were up on these mountain peaks and way high in these mountains in Eastern and Western Europe doing research for weeks at a time, if they're telling the truth, which, I mean, scientists, you would assume they would be, especially when they have no previous history of talking about any kind of cryptid at all, which these gentlemen don't. Then they come back from this research trip freaking out because they had found tracks at the top of the mountain that were 3-toed or 4-toed. So they were missing a toe. They didn't have an extra. They were missing a toe. And these things were 24 to 36 inches long. You ain't talking about a Bigfoot. Not even the big ones. You're talking about something completely different. And then when you talk to the people in the villages who live down lower on these mountains, and they say, yes, there's giants there, we continued to have to move our homes because we would keep seeing them and running into them. And no, they wouldn't come here and terrorize us, but if we ran into one, they would. If you were out in the woods and you saw one, the first thing that these giants did was to terrorize, to kill. Most of the time, the stories are that they're carrying a stick or a club, partially clothed with something on, and just completely massive. I mean, on a different level. This is not a Sasquatch big. This is giant big. Man, if this is true, which I don't doubt it for 1 minute, there is just so much out there that we just don't know. We don't know. I'm one of these people who believe that every myth, every legend comes from truth, comes from a bit of truth. While some of them may have been changed over the years, sensationalized a little bit, depending on who's telling it. Most of it, I think, is planted in truth, is rooted in truth, and so you think about it. Werewolves probably just dogman, or I guess they could be werewolves. Same, 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. But probably came from some truth. We know Hairy Man did. We know the wild men do. We know the story of trolls and stuff. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen. I'm sure some of you have the picture that went around a few years back of what looked to be the ugliest troll ever that someone took in the woods. This big eye and this big bulbous nose, and apparently at first it was circulating as a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch, but this thing don't look like no Sasquatch to me. It looks like a troll, or some kind of giant. There's so many different things. They are absolutely sacred to some Native Americans. Yep. There are 100% some buried under mounds, 100%. They were found under mounds, and then the Smithsonian came and scooped up what they could. But thankfully, well, I guess it sucks, it's kind of too, the Native Americans had mounds on their land, and they found skeletons of giants, and they were able to keep them, but they're not going to show them to us. Why would they? So that somebody can come in and try to steal them. By natural law, by the law of the Native American land, the government cannot take them. But don't think that would stop them if they had the opportunity to. So, I don't blame them for not showing anybody. I don't blame them for not putting them on display. That's part of their history. They're sacred. Some of them are sacred to them, like Carson said. So they're keeping them safe. It's a damn shame that this is what we... I'm speaking of every giant. I'm not speaking of just the giant of Kandahar. That's one story. I'm speaking of multiple different stories that have come from different people in different places. That story on Wes's show, I believe, was from somewhere up in the mountains by like Siberia, if I remember correctly. Lots of questions, tons of questions. As we know, you have a question, you find an answer, and 10 more questions come up. Pammy Clyde. Seen people's pics and vids of Godzilla looking beings, and can you send these pictures or videos? I'd love to see them. But yeah, the Giants of Kandahar was one story, obviously. That had to do with the military, though, if I remember correctly. Do I think that the oxygen was more rich? I don't know that that's the case. I think that I don't know that had anything to do with the oxygen levels being. Maverick, stop it now! Stop it! No! Sit. Look at this is what I deal with. Sit. Sit. That's what happens. See? That's what happens. That's what happens. No. I got this guy over here pumping out porta potties, and man, does it stink. Good God. I don't know why you're so mad. You got your stick. No one's rushing you. Christ, calm down. Yeah, of course they do. They have a ton they don't share, and why would they? Why would they? I wouldn't. I wouldn't if I was them. I'd be terrified that people were going to take it from us. We get dismissed by the government. By so many serving the government. Yeah, of course we do. Because they know, and it would change the whole history of evolution, wouldn't it? So would this so would confirming that Sasquatch are real. You would have to question the whole history of evolution, and for many people, this would really shake up Christianity, Catholicism. I mean, people would freak out to think that somebody or anybody in one of these things made a mistake. Oh golly, no, that can't be true. So they keep it from you. It would shake up. It would shake up the truths that they want you to believe. That's what it would do. And they can't have that, because then that would mean that they don't have as much control as they want. Morning, Robert. Hey, buddy. How are you, man? What a good egg. Robert's a good egg. Wouldn't even know. Of course they do. They sure would acknowledge you if you had a casino and billions of dollars funneling in. Then they'd acknowledge you. I live by the two, as far as gaming floors go. I don't know if they still hold that title, but their gaming floors are just massive. The amount of revenue that's generated there every year is insane. And yet we still have one of the highest tax rates in the country. I think maybe the highest. Stupid shit, man. Yeah, I'd like to know more about them, Carson. The things that cannot be discussed, but I guess I won't find out because they can't be discussed. 100% fresh. We talk about that all the time, man. That's what it boils down to. In the end, is you know what they want you to know. That's it, period. Well, I just don't buy into that. I'm sorry. I'm a disruptor by nature. I don't believe it. There's way more out there to know than what they tell me, what they pumped into us in schools. And even so much of that shit that you learned in school over the years has come to, be proven as false. Much, much more. Yep. I believe that. What is that? What do you have in your mouth? No. God, I can't even with you. Can't even. 3 trips to the emergency vet. You get fed really good food, and yeah, you eat every stupid thing on the ground. Oh, God. Putting his food in a bowl this morning. What's he do? He goes over to the cat litter box, eats a piece of shit. Man, must be good crap. It just baffles me. It just baffles me, man. Ay, ay, ay. No, not me. Definitely not me. I've been that way since I was a kid. Just something in you, Either it's there or it's not. I just knew a long time ago that there was way more out there. That what they were telling me was just what they wanted. It was just a surface stuff. It was just a way to program you to be the robot they want you to be. I knew this. I've literally felt this since I was young. And people always, you were the bad kid because you didn't subscribe to that BS. You were a bad kid if you questioned things. You were a bad kid if you had your own thoughts and ideas. Well, I was that bad kid. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad I was that bad kid. What are you barking at? Hey, stop that. Stop that. Hey, hey, hey. Stop that. Stop that, please. Stop that. That's not nice. It's just a person walking. I don't know why you're being that way. Yeah, I was naughty. Kyle, drop a little of what you wanted to talk about, my friend. Are you referring to what we spoke about regarding your NDA? Is that what you're talking about? Well, unfortunately now my battery's probably going to die. I got 10% left. Plus I got to get him back because I got to get ready for my silly little doctor's appointment. How about this? How about you, would you mind emailing me? And then we can talk a little bit off the live, just a little bit. I mean, I gladly I'll share it all if you're good with it, but I'd like to just ask you a few questions off the live, if you don't mind. So my email is all lowercase, KYLE4180 CONNOLLY@gmail.com. Fresh, can you put that in the chat for me, buddy? Do you mind linking my email in there? I also am going to have to go listen to this genie. I'd love to know more. I'd love to know more. And I wish Pammy was still on here. I want to know about these Godzilla-like beings in Naugatuck. That's what I mean. There's just so much, man. There's just so much. So much. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, man. That's a good brother right there, let me tell you. Fresh is a good brother. And I use that word because I mean it. That's a brother. We're gonna have to have a fresh sesh on the show again. I think it's about time. All right, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk, Lady Wolf. Yeah, we need to talk. We definitely need to talk. Maybe me, you, and Fresh can do a backstage StreamYard conversation if you're okay with that. I'm sure Fresh would love to get involved. I think that'd be awesome. If you're not, it's okay. I totally understand. But my battery's gonna die. Please make sure you tune in tonight to Brian Garvey from Brian and Chewy Go Hiking. He will be on the show to talk about some of his experiences in the woods of New England, working with Alexander Petikoff, finding some tracks and some other encounters and that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about New England folklore and legends and our own experiences out there in the woods. Great guy. It's going to be a fun show. Also, again, I just want to praise Joe and Jesse for their forward thinking. I really am such a huge fan. And I'm so grateful for them coming on the show. And then they had such nice words to say on their own live the next day. Gosh, I really hope that we can stay in touch. I hope that maybe some kind of friendship blooms from that episode, because I really admire them. They're great folks. So if you're not subscribed to them, please go subscribe. They are so worth it. So worth it. I'm telling you. They are the now and the future of this community. I don't give a shit what anyone else says. Best show we had yet, hands down. All right, guys. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Wish me luck at the doctors, please. Hate going to these stupid things. I'll catch up with you later. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.